Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? We just figured we put a quick video together of our trip. We ran Route 66, but I guess we technically ran it backwards.
Yep, so we started in Santa Monica, California, and we ended in Joplin, Missouri. And then we drove from Joplin, Missouri all the way home.
But we were able to stop and see some friends along the way, stop and see some family, and we also went to the Grand Canyon and did a helicopter tour. But we'll put the Grand Canyon helicopter tour in another video because it in itself is a pretty cool video.
We had a great time and we just wanted to share a trip with you.
Thanks, and I hope you enjoy.
Oatman, Arizona is a fun town to drive through if you're taking the Route 66 trip. Oatman, Arizona is in the northwest corner of Arizona. It's about 2 hours east of Las Vegas, and it's right on Interstate 40. So if you're coming from Las Vegas or Southern California, you're gonna, on Route 66, you're gonna roll through Oatman, you're gonna go through Kingman, Arizona, and then Seligman, Arizona. So it's right on 40. But the cool thing about it is that there are burros or donkeys that have been left behind from days gone by, and they come right up to your car. So very much like in Yellowstone, if you've been to Yellowstone, the wildlife just comes right up to your car. So these donkeys were, Oatman was also a mining town and in the late 1800s, and they used these burros or donkeys to help them mine. And they were left behind, and they've bred since then, and they will come right up to your car. And Chris and I were able to feed them a little bit, but we were not as prepared as some other people. We noticed some other people purposely came with like bags of apples and things to feed the donkeys. The people in the town don't totally discourage feeding the donkeys. So if you are planning on taking the Route 66 trip, Oatman, Arizona is definitely a fun place to go, but I would suggest, just learning from our experience, that you maybe stop and grab some snacks or some fruit or something to feed the donkeys, because they are literally laying on the side of the road. You drive up and they're just there. They're all over the road. They're super easy to come up to. They will come up to you. So have your video cameras ready, your phones ready. It was a really cool experience. And then Oatman, you can continue driving through. And when you get to Oatman, there's a parking lot off to the right that you can park at, and then just walk through the town. It's set up very much like a old Western town, like mid 1800s, late 1800s, where there's little shops and boutiques, little Western things you can check out. And I know we bought some honey from a lady there, and from cactus honey, which is delicious. So just kind of a stepping back in time, where we were really glad that we did it. We walked all the way through town and then took a shot of the town from the farthest corner. When we were there was a Camaro club that was actually driving through town, and so that was really fun. And then we didn't stay for it, but there was a shootout that they were going to do in front of a bank, and so the people in the town try to make it as fun for tourists to come and see.
On Route 66 outside of Oatman, a lot of little memorials to people. there's all kinds of urns and stuff.
I mean, it's really, I know.
Well, no, there's all kinds.
Seligman, Arizona is another fun place to stop if you're doing the Route 66 trip. Seligman is known as the birthplace of Route 66. A gentleman named Angel Delgadio is also responsible and one of the major players in founding the historic Route 66 Association of Arizona. There wasn't a Route 66 association until he founded it in Arizona. And he did that in 1987 along with a group of lobbyists. And they took it to the Arizona State Legislature and they passed it. And then after that, the states California, Texas, New Mexico, Kansas, Oklahoma, Illinois, and Missouri followed suit. So the Route 66 that you see on the maps today weren't there until 1987. Route 66 started in 1926, but the actual association of Route 66 didn't start until 1987, and Angel Delgadio was responsible for initiating that in Arizona, and then the rest of the states followed suit. So that's really cool. He and his family moved to Seligman, Arizona in 1917, and they were just integral players in the town. He was a barber, and it was a town on Route 66. And then in the mid-70s, when Interstate 40 came through, it cut off a lot of the commerce that went through Seligman, and the town began to die. And so that's when he knew he wanted to do something. He didn't want his town to die. His brother, Juan Delgadio, founded the ice cream parlor Snowcaps. So if you go to Seligman, stop at Snowcaps. We stopped, Chris and I had milkshakes, and they were pretty good. They were huge. And then there's also a couple restaurants. One of them is the Roadkill Cafe, which was fun. We didn't eat there, but we've heard good reviews there if you choose to. There's a little jail that used to be there that you can tour. It's just a really fun town to stop in, and the history of it is really cool too. So take some time, plan some time to go through Seligman on your Route 66 trip.
Enjoy your
The Blue Swallow Motel was actually one of the coolest places that we stayed on Route 66. It originally started with 10 motel rooms, and it was marketed as one of the first and only motels along Route 66 that had quote-unquote refrigerated air, meaning air conditioners in each of the rooms, which was a big deal in the 1940s. And then they also had individual garages that would attach or accompany each room that people stayed in, which are still there today. So if you are on Route 66, plan to stay at the Blue Swallow Motel. But I will say, if you're going to do that, book your room months in advance because they do fill up. There are currently 14 rooms at the Blue Swallow Motel, and each one of them is a step back in time. Each one of them is different, looks different, feels different. Some are smaller, some are larger. But they all have the refrigerated air. They all have a garage attached to them. There is a washer and a dryer on site if you want to use it. There is a refrigerator and a microwave in a separate suite if you wanted to store some of your larger items. One of the cooler things too is there is a rotary phone in each room that when you pick it up, you can hear a dial tone. You can call somebody from home. So that's really very cool too. The owners, Rob and Dawn, took very good care of us. Good coffee in the morning. And there's not a lot in Tucumcari, New Mexico, which is where the Blue Swallow Motel is located. So Tucumcari is 175 miles east of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it is 115 miles west of Amarillo, Texas. So you kind of have to want to go there. It's out of the way. It's on Route 66, but it's definitely a destination point.
All right, we're at the Midpoint Cafe. We have lots of windmills.
Cadillac Ranch is one of the coolest stops along the Route 66 trip that you're going to want to make. It won't take you more than 20 minutes to stop, but there are 10 Cadillacs buried nose down in the earth just west of Amarillo, Texas. And there were 3 artists from San Francisco who wanted to play around with art and thought it would be fun to bury 10 Cadillacs nose down in the dirt. And so they did. And they called themselves the Ant Farm. They had a silent partner who was named Stanley March III, and he was a billionaire, and he owned the property that the Cadillacs were buried on. They tilted the Cadillacs to mirror the Pyramid of Giza. So they're not straight up and down. That's why they're on an angle. They face west, and they date from 1949 to 1963. And you can park alongside of the road. You can buy a can of spray paint. There's someone selling them, or you can bring your own, or you can just walk up and take pictures. And it is really, really cool today. Definitely something that you're going to want to see. And just take a few minutes, pull off the side of the road. It's a nice time to stretch and walk around. It's just a really, really great, if you're a photographer, it's a great place to stop and get some pictures. But it's really fun. It's a fun place to see. Galena, Kansas is a must stop on the Route 66 trip. Galena is one of the towns that the movie Cars took inspiration from when they developed the movie. And if you go to Galena, you're going to want to stop at a little place called Gearhead Curios, and you're going to want to talk to Aaron. Aaron has remodeled this little gas station very much to look like a 1950s gas station. And we're going to post a video of the bathroom, actually, that he remodeled, which is amazing.
Good.
All right, this is Gearhead Curios. Our pride and joy is our restroom. That may sound odd, but you'll see in a minute. Like reminiscent of the 1970s, the restroom key is on an old hubcap. So you open the restroom door. And you will find we have a pink mid-century toilet, pink and white checkerboard floor. Unfortunately, I could not find the matching colors, but you do what you can do. And being Gearhead Curios, everything is automotive and gearhead. So our toilet paper roll holder is a C-clamp with wrenches. Our divider between the urinal and the commode is Model A hood sides. And I kind of haphazardly sprayed pink to do the transition from the pink to the car theme stuff. This is our urinal. It's a powder coated funnel. These are so the guys know where to put their feet. You step on the gas to flush, it opens the water valve, comes up through a Texaco oil can and into the funnel. We actually have t-shirts on order with this that has the picture of the funnel. It says, I hit the funnel at Gearhead Curios. And so the ladies are not left out. We're going to make a dispenser right there. And in that dispenser, we're going to have disposable Sheewies. So the ladies can enjoy all the fun and excitement of standing at the urinal and hitting the gas pedal to flush. We had a traveler in that thought that was a riot. She goes, I want to ring a bell or honk a horn. So that is what the ladies can do after they use the urinal. And then go buy a t-shirt saying they hit the funnel at Gearhead Curios. Our sink has a brass gas pump nozzle. Again, the wrenches are the supports. Oil drain basin is the sink. Walmart foaming hand soap and an old Texaco oil can. This radiator mirror is from my 1958 Ford, which is the car I was driving the day this place found me. Old Ford valve cover, GM air cleaner cover, 1930s headlight buckets. And when we get the right tailgate, right underneath this mirror is going to be a baby changing station, which is an old tailgate. And then the last thing, we need to find the appropriate 1970s paper, I guess not towel, cloth towel roll thing that was dirty, nasty, and he was immune to any virus known to man if you ever used one. And that is the restroom at Gearhead Curios.
Galena is the primary ore mineral of lead. And in World War I, Galena, Kansas was the oldest mining town of lead and zinc. In the 1940s, there were 15,000 people that lived in Galena. And in the 2000 census, there were less than 4,000 people. So it was known as a mining town of lead. It was huge for lead. And once the mining was done, once the lead was mined, people just left the town. There was really no reason to stay. It's a cute town to roll through. It's a cute town to walk through. And so if you're on Route 66, if you're doing the Route 66 tour, definitely stop in Galena, grab some pictures, and you won't be sorry that you stopped.
Very cool. Their flag is made of license plates, and they have motorcycle helmets for the lights.
Joplin, Missouri is another great stop on Route 66. We actually found the visitor center, the welcome center in Joplin, to be super helpful. And the reason that we had planned to go to Joplin was for two reasons initially. One being that the Bonnie and Clyde hangout was there, and then the Great Falls, which is a 12-foot waterfall, is in Joplin, Missouri. And so we just made it a point to stop in Joplin, and we were glad that we did. The Bonnie and Clyde hangout, the story behind that is that they hid out in a garage for 13 days. They were on the run, and they got word that the police were after them, and so they gathered their things together quickly, and on their way out of town, they actually left a roll of Kodak film in this garage, which gave the police and other officials information on some things that they had been doing, which eventually helped capture them. So we went to see that garage. You can stand out in front of it. It's currently an Airbnb, but there's a sign out in front you can read, take pictures of. And then the Great Falls in Missouri is about a 10-minute drive from the Bonnie and Clyde garage. And then another fun thing that we found that we didn't initially go to see, but we're glad that we stopped, was called the Super Tam, which is a small family-owned ice cream parlor. And it combines as a Superman museum, and it just features a lifelong collection of Superman memorabilia, and their ice cream is pretty good. And so we were glad that we made a stop there too. So all in all, you could probably do Joplin in maybe an hour and a half along your way. And there were a few things to see in Joplin. So another great stop.